Gareth, the Dollop
Dave.
the Dollop is sponsored by Squarespace.
Love Squarespace, Dave.
We love Squarespace. We've been involved with Squarespace forever. It's the all-in-one platform for entrepreneurs and people and just folks to stand out and really make yourself seen online, as Gareth does with his website, GarethReynolds.com. And of course, I have my website with Squarespace, and then we have the sources with Squarespace, and we have the Dollop.
We love Squarespace.
Everything. We're all under Squarespace. We're under the banner.
It is it's the right way to do this. If you're going to have a website, this is easy. We do it. Just do it. Enough. No, Dave, you don't even read any more copy. Enough BS. Just do it. You're just sitting there in a pile of Pringles cans, chain smoking. Get it together. I'm done.
Okay, so you can sell custom merch on there, for your audience, scale up your brand. You can design the products and do the production, inventory, shipping. It's all done for you. They got an online store. They got an online store to then sell your products. You sell physical, digital, whatever. Squarespace has got it all
Flow
ready
charts
for you to do. And then an asset library, so you can upload and organize and access.
Dave,
all your content.
I think I kind of lost my cool a little earlier in the ad, and I just want to sort of say, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, well, you should be sorry about it.
I love Pringles,
but it's a great website company and more, as they say, all in one. You get domains and all that stuff. So yeah, get on board. We love it. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Dollop. Save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. Gareth, we are also brought to you by Litter Robot.
Dave.
Gareth, this is this is the evolution of cat pooing, as I like to call it.
I don't think that's right.
Where
the cat's pooing the same.
The cat's pooing the same, but it's the technology around cat pooing is getting extraordinary. And it's a sandbox, but it's not.
It's a litter box. It's not a sandbox. There's no children playing in it. Literally cannot say enough good things about the litter robot. Mm-hmm. I wanted one for a while. Mm-hmm. It is a litter game changer. And again, I realize I'm 44.
That's what I said. Yeah.
No. And I don't even know where to start. Some of my highlights, aside from the fact that you don't need to worry about like scooping out the litter daily at all anymore, because it drops into a little trap below. It automatically does it. You have an app that tells you when your cat is using it, but also at night, it has two little lights shining down on it, like a city on a hill of litter, like a litter on a hill. And, self-cleaning could not be easier. It is just the greatest. It just completely changed like the most annoying part of having a cat.
There you go. Whisker is currently offering $50 off litter robot bundles as a special offer to listeners of the show. Go to stopscooping.com/Dollop and use promo code Dollop to save.
I got rid of my scooper.
To save an additional $50 on any litter robot bundle. That's $100 off any litter robot bundle at stopscooping.com/Dollop and use promo code Dollop. Stopscooping.com/Dollop. Promo code Dollop. And Gareth.
Yes.
One more thing. We are brought to you by Electric E-Bike.
Let's do this.
Dave,
let's
do it.
This is my
your
electric bike.
I love my electric e-bike. Got to say e-bike. That's what we got dinged for. Electric e-bike. Go to electricebikes.com to discover e-bikes that start at just $7.99 with the XP Lite. I am a huge fan. I got the one. I don't even know which model is, but it's the XP Trike. It folds. So I can fold it up and put it in my car. I can drive it if I want to like go to the beach or whatever and ride it on the paths there. It's just so much better. It's just I live on a hilly area, so I can it would take me a lot of energy to get back up the hill, like if I went to the store or something. And now I can just zip right up. It's fantastic. It's comfortable. It's fast. I like it. I like the whole thing.
Yeah. No, you talk about your electric bike a lot. Too much.
Data shows that e-bike riders take their bike out more often. That means you're getting out more, you're exercising more. You can get up to 150 miles on one charge with their long range options, and then financing is as low as $49 a month. So get on it. Tell them Dave sent you. I love it. So go full throttle into spring with electric e-bikes, the number one selling e-bikes in the nation. Get your adventure started at electricebikes.com, and please mention the Dollop sent you in the post-checkout survey. That's LECTRIC ebikes.com.
God, you want to hit a dude?
I'll do one bottle.
People say this is funny.
Not Gary Gareth.
Dave, okay.
Someone or something is tickling people.
Is it for fun?
And this is not going to become the Tickling Podcast.
Okay.
You are Queen Fakey of Made Up Town.
All hail Queen Shit of Liesville.
A bunch of religious virgins go to mingle
And do what?
pray.
Hi, Gary.
No.
Nicely done, my friend.
This
Not really.
is the Dollop on the All Things Comedy Network. This is an American history podcast where each week I, Dave Anthony, read a story from American history.
Can we get some stuff about you?
Can
Can we get some stuff about you?
a contradictory, mean person?
Gareth Reynolds, MAGA.
What?
Oh, I'm MAGA now.
No, it's not. No, we're not.
Yeah.
No, you can't just all of a sudden.
You don't want it to be great again?
Not in that way. Like,
Well, don't get to
no,
choose.
we can't have this. Can't be Crossfire. Like,
Oh,
Crossfire.
buddy, we're doing the crawl up. Good work. All right, you start. What are your stupid liberal views? I'm gonna cut them down.
I'm not a liberal.
Whoa. Yeah, I am.
I'm a
Great.
leftist.
It's tough to work with. It's not easy.
Why did you become MAGA?
Merch. I love the merch.
They do have good merch.
They have way better merch.
The congressional baseball game was on television yesterday, and
are they playing
in a stadium? And it's Congress people playing, and one of the pitchers has a MAGA hat on, and I really just couldn't. I just
How many people went to that?
There were a lot. There was a charity event, so there were actually too many people there.
See, these are the sort of it's also so funny that they are like, we're going to raise money for something. It's like, yeah, you know what else you could do? Give it. Portion it out for this group.
The announcers were like, well, this is the kind of event that could really bring the two sides together and create a difference in this country. No.
By the way, behind closed doors, these two sides are already together.
Gareth, we have a Patreon. If you want to enjoy this show ad-free, you can check out
Dave,
our Patreon.
Should I tell everyone?
Yeah.
So we're trying to up the subs on the old Patreon. We're trying to get ourselves to 10,000 subs. Okay? Just like Jersey Mike's. And one of the things we're going to do if we get there is you and I haven't even told you about this update.
No, what?
But what we should do is we're not just going to sit there and watch one Steven Seagal movie.
No.
Yes.
No.
I think we should make a day of it. And we should watch 3.
What are you doing right now?
We should watch 3.
You can't just
I'm springing it.
do things like this without talking to me first.
I'm springing it. Are you in or are you out?
No.
Why? Come on. This is
Cancel
sweeps.
the Patreon.
No. We'll watch Under Siege. We'll watch Above the Law. Does every one of his movies start with a preposition? And then what's the other one? On Deadly Ground.
He's a
preposition guy.
You found it.
Also, we want to thank everyone who's joining us on our YouTube. We've got a bunch of good stuff on there, and you can go to the Dollop podcast.
The other one got
stuff.
taken down, but I'm sure he's putting him up on
Rumble.
Rumble now.
Let him have it. Let him have it. I mean, were we really going to engage on Rumble that much?
No.
I don't think so.
Around 1852.
These are my favorite. Why are you leaving the camera?
Gotta put on the podcasting hat.
Okay, so listen, I'm not sure what to say about this.
I put on my podcasting hat.
Take it off? This is Dave. This can't
The
happen
year of
all
our
of a
Lord,
sudden.
J-Town.
Dave,
John Billington was born in England.
this is so stupid.
It was a rough time in England. There were wars, religious turmoil,
Sure.
overpopulation,
Mm-hmm.
terrible inflation.
Well,
If
it
you can
sounds very
imagine,
similar.
the next decade brought infighting and scarcity and economic hardship, and there was war in Ireland. It's just a mess. It's a disaster.
Sure.
So we don't know anything about John Billington's early years. Nothing at all.
Okay.
We do know that in 1603, he married Eleanor Lockwood.
Mm-hmm.
She's 21.
Okay.
And they have two sons, crank out a couple of boys, John Jr. in 1604, and then Francis a couple years later.
Okay.
And then that's it. They don't have any more kids. Very rare for the time. Usually people
Yeah.
had 60 to 70.
Yep.
And 2 kids are done, 2 and out.
Okay.
So they live in Lincolnshire. And
is that why you're wearing that stupid hat? Because of Lincoln?
It's not a stupid hat.
What is it, a Beefeater hat? It's real dumb.
It's a professional podcasting hat. And
It's real dumb.
They live on the edge of
Where are you
poverty.
getting a hat like that?
You can just buy top hats anywhere.
Why did you get it?
Because I'm a podcaster.
Okay.
And things only became more difficult. Not much hope that they would get any better in England, and just looked like bad.
Sure. Yep.
So John starts to think that maybe immigration is the way out of this situation.
Oh, okay. Boy, I thought it was going to be an immigrant hating start, but he wants to be an immigrant.
He wants to emigrate.
He wants to emigrate, right?
Colonizing America did not have a good track record at that point. Roanoke, obviously a disaster. There had been like a small, quick one in Maine that lasted a whole winter, and that was it.
A whole what?
Winter. There was a colony that
Oh,
lasted
right. Colonies were just dying
in and
because
out.
everyone was dying.
Yeah, it was not good.
Right.
The Virginia colony at this point is like a death camp. People are just dying. They die from the ocean crossing, from exposure, from starvation. There's diseases. Then there's fighting with the locals that live there.
Sure.
So odds are, if you go with 4 people, one of them is not going to survive.
Right.
Probably 2, right?
Okay.
Those are like the numbers. So
That's
in
fun.
the summer of 1620, some well-off businessmen in London start recruiting people to colonize. Quote, the northern parts of Virginia.
Okay.
The best part.
So, right. So you're just, yes, right. Yeah. The men who are the rich men of Richmond. So you're basically just, they're just like, we'll get you there. Are they going to, they give you something?
Okay. So the men, these businessmen, they paint it as like this place of abundance, and there's all
What's
these
so great
animals
is
you can
how
hunt.
you just, there's no way for, I mean, it's just like, if you go to like you go to your hotel and it's trash, very quickly you're like, hey, this isn't it.
Yeah.
You know, this is like, you are like, what? And those businessmen are just like, yeah, they're probably going to die. Hey, how good is money?
Well, once you get them there, that's it. They're fucked,
it.
right?
Yeah.
You know,
That's
they're
it.
not going to
You're
chance
yeah.
another ship across the ocean where you could die.
By the way, as I'm even saying this, the fact that this still happens today is now entering the forefront of my mind.
Yeah, it's never stopped.
So that's cool.
So, yeah, so they're saying it's this great place. And John Billington is like, okay, I mean, sounds good.
Did you hear what they had to say about this magical land they call Virginia?
There are deer so plentiful that they have apples growing on them.
Deer apples. Why, they've got everything over there. They've got a rainbow river. They've got gumdrop trees. Virginia. There's other stuff. They have other stuff.
Yeah, what?
Why, they've got delicious vines that are tasty. Regular vines.
What's
you can eat
growing
the
on the
vines like
vines?
spaghetti. They're just regular vines.
What are you talking
Come over
about?
this way. Look at these thorny trees.
That's
Imagine
not what-
navigating these.
That's
Come
not
on.
what vines are.
Over this way. Look at this. Why, this
No.
river's polluted. It's full of dead fish. Come over here. Let me grant you a wish in Virginia. In Virginia.
So, of course, there's a hitch.
There's
to this whole
sweet
thing.
gumdrops. Those are the crops in Virginia.
Gumdrops?
Hey, do you like fruit?
Yeah, I like apples and oranges.
There's not much here in Virginia.
Okay,
Hey,
yeah.
have a handful of dirt. Put some
What?
down your skirt in Virginia.
I don't have a skirt.
Want to buy a skirt? Well, come over here. There's nothing except coldness and fear in Virginia.
It's not a good selling point.
Look, we're not going to be able to get to the ocean because this land is locked. I hope you understand that we'll be beating each other's with rocks in Virginia.
It's on the ocean.
Well, that's tough to hear. What an interesting trend. Pretty soon you're going to be eating your friend in Virginia. In Virginia.
So, of course, there's a hitch to this whole thing, and that is that for the cost of shipping them over, providing them with food and a share of the profits, once there, you sign a contract that binds your entire family to labor in the colony until 1627. So 7 years.
Wait, what year are we
indentured-
starting, though? I thought you said 18 something.
1620.
Oh, okay. I thought you said I think you started by saying 18 something. So we're in the 1600s.
Did I?
Yeah.
It's possible. Yeah, it's 1620.
Okay.
So at 7 years, the whole family. He signs up the whole family. Karen Racine, quote, for the duration of their partnership with the investors, the Billingtons and their fellow colonists would work 6 days per week for the company. All profits from trade, traffic, trucking, working, fishing, or any other means would remain in the common stock. Even the houses and gardens were to be included in the assets to be divided after 7 years. So all money goes back to the company in England,
right?
And then the things you build, the houses and the horses that are made and the cows that are made, that is all common property. And after 7 years, when you're all free, then you split that stuff up.
So you basically are 7 years a slave, and then at the end of that, you get
something.
You get
Unlike
your stuff, but you will basically have 7 awful years.
Yeah.
And then at the end, you're allowed to keep what you sowed.
Basically, yeah. And if the colony is profitable, that means they're expanding and they're getting more land and stuff. So ideally, when you're done, you do get a nice chunk of something.
Okay.
Ideally. Some thought the terms were, quote, fitter for thieves and bond slaves than honest men.
Right.
But to someone like John, the possibility of getting out of the hell that is England and actually having a shot at a better life down the road is worth it, because if he stays in England, it's just the rest of his life.
Here he's got a chance.
Yeah, you have a chance. There's a little bit of sliver of hope. But then the Billingtons get on the ship. And right away, they discover that most of the other passengers are not normal people like themselves, but religious radicals. Okay. Separatists from Holland who had 10 years before fled England.
Yes.
Because they don't like the Anglican Church. There's some difference that I don't care about.
Right. What's weird is the hats become normal.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to it. By the way, it's a great hat. And so
no, it's not. It looks like what you would put a child in if he were going to be a mayor in Hello Dolly.
So, right, a great hat. So these people are very persecuted. That's why they live. So when people are persecuted, it caused a lot of issues and a lot of psychological issues. So they're following the pastor John Robinson. They decide that their lives in Holland are not going to get better. They're just bleak. So they're gonna try to go to America and start anew. It was a hard decision to come to. They were worried about, quote, the miseries of the land, which would probably consume to utterly ruinate them.
So they have really, it's a low bar.
Yeah, they're not. This is not a optimistic.
Like, this could get pretty cool. They're like, nah, it's probably going to be awful and most likely we'll die, but hey, whatever.
Yeah, the land's going to kill us over there. We're just fucked.
Hey, let's die over there.
Yeah, better than
That's
Holland.
kind of the choice, yeah.
They also signed a 7-year contract. So all this meant they can't find enough volunteers because nobody really wants to do this. It just sounds like a bad idea. So the investors that's when they think they can get all of these separatists, but then even those people aren't getting on board. So that's when they go over to England and are like, hey, poor people. So that's how they get the volunteers for the rest of them. So they have half separatists and half, like normal folk.
Is that where Norfolk comes from?
Don't ever again. The worst part is like that. Nope. The worst part is that John Billington is devoted to the Church of England, so he has zero in common with these heretics. Right. They're the bad guy. And they haven't been in England for 10 years. So there's like a little bit of cultural difference. So on the ship, immediately all the separatists are like, these guys are suspicious, these Billington types. They called them strangers. That's what they call people from the outside, not part of the cult.
Sure.
And unfortunately, John can't walk away. He gets on the ship. He's like, imagine you get on a ship and it's just all these evangelicals and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. No, it's not that he's at sea. The ship is still docked. He signed a contract. He can't.
Could you just walk away?
I don't know. I don't know. Remember, this is when you could go to prison for debt. So who knows what they do? You'd probably go to jail if you broke a contract, I would assume.
By the way, of all of his options, jail seems the best.
Better. Yeah.
So
that's why he's stuck there, and things don't start out well. The two ships go out, and then they return to port twice because in such bad shape and leaking. So
Jesus Christ,
it's a bad sign for the company you're working for.
Sounds like flying.
So they're eating all their food because the ships keep stopping and it's taking a while, all this stuff.
Please say they re-ration. They don't just go like, man, all right.
Well, they can't re-ration because these people brought their own food.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So they probably don't have, the Billingtons don't have that much money. They're eating what are they going to be, supplies through the winter they're eating it. So everyone on board starts getting a little freaked out that they won't have any food when they get there. So separatist Robert Cushman wrote that with the lack of food and the, quote, ununited passenger, that violence would break all.
I got to say, we've heard a lot of awful journeys on this show. And I see, at this point, I see them coming pretty clearly.
Yeah.
I know when it's so they're sending some guy to be like, go make a road in a park we've never been to. This sounds as badly teed up as an adventure can be.
No, this is terrible. This is a terrible start.
The fact, even just going to start a colony in the US is bad, but the idea that they're already eating their boat spaghetti is not good.
Yeah, the BS.
Yeah.
The Mayflower ends up leaving alone without the other ship because the other ship's in such bad shape.
Oh, this is the Mayflower?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I missed that.
I didn't say it yet.
Oh, okay.
So
then this is a big fucking deal. Okay.
So there's 102 passengers. There's 37 crew members. Half of the passengers are separatists. And they're very unified. All the other people don't know each other, and they're no connection whatsoever.
Sure.
So they ended up going to Northern Virginia, but not going to Northern Virginia. That's where their patent is. So they're supposed to go to Northern Virginia. So they end up not going. And
What do you mean
instead
their patent is?
you get a patent for your colony from the king or the company or whatever. I think the king. I think the king gives you a patent. And so you have a select time of your patent. Like you have a 10-year patent for this land that you can go here, right?
Yeah. You know what we should have gotten for this episode is Patton Oswalt.
I'm not frozen. I'm just staring.
No, I know. No, I see you blinking.
So it's not where they expect to go. They go to Cape Cod and George's Bank, and European fishermen have been going there since like the 1500s. So they knew there was lots of fishing to be had there, but that meant they're not landing in the Church of England friendly Virginia. So the people on the ship who are not the separatists, they're like, well, at least when we get there, we'll be surrounded by people like us, other Angelicans. And now they're going to a place where nobody is.
How hard is it to fake just being a separatist? Couldn't you get on that boat and just be like, oh, finally, some other separatists?
I don't think you would, because you don't.
Is it just your personal conviction? You were just like, since God's watching, like you're like, I'm right. These fuckers are idiots.
How hard would it be for you to fake being an evangelican for 3 months?
Not hard. If I was like going on a boat and I'm like, these people might eat me, dude. Without question, I'd be like, what's your favorite?
What's your favorite psalm in Mark?
So, my favorite psalm in Mark. Hamill. Did you guys hear that Psalm starts with a P? Isn't that crazy?
So number one, I think they all know each other. And number two, I think they would test you.
That's where my problem comes in.
Yeah, and then you're fucked.
The testing.
Yeah. So they get there, and as soon as the anchor drops, the Billingtons are an issue. According to the book American Murder, quote, straight away the Billingtons started causing trouble. Even before the newly arrived immigrants could move onto Plymouth Rock, Francis almost sank the ship when he fired a gun near an uncovered barrel of gunpowder and set fire to a cabin.
Well, what the fuck is he doing? I mean, I'm like, they're our POV, but what is he doing? What the fuck?
He's 13.
They hit Plymouth Rock? But still, what are you doing, boy? Get the gun out of his...
He's shooting a gun inside, like you do.
What? Near gunpowder.
Remember, this is a gun that goes... and there's smoke, and it's like a whole thing. It's not like a little pistol. It's like a giant blowy-uppy thing.
I mean, that's not good. That's not helpful.
By the way, they say move on to Plymouth Rock. No one could move on to Plymouth Rock because Plymouth Rock is like the size of like a dining table. It's not a big rock.
Well, wow. No rock has done more with less.
Yeah, it's really been overblown.
Yeah.
So not a great start. A Pilgrim quote, on the fifth day, we, through God's mercy, escaped a great danger by the foolishness of a boy, one of Billington's sons, who, in his father's absence, had got gunpowder, and there being a fouling piece charged in his father's cabin, shot her off in the cabin. There being a barrel of powder half full scattered in and about the cabin and many people about the fire, and yet by God's mercy no harm was done.
See, I would be like, see, that's Angelicans. We shot it. God decided, and they'd be like, no, the separatists. Our Lord looked over us and made sure that we weren't hit with the gunpowder from your foolish child.
That's exactly how it works.
By the way, I've shot off in a cabin before.
Oh, good Lord.
Come on.
It's gross.
Let's have some fun.
It's gross.
Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's get a little lock. Hey, I remind you, we're the bad boys, okay?
We are the bad boys.
So let me remind you a little something, okay, buddy? If you got this little sort of vanilla attitude, take it and shove it up your a-hole. Because that's not the bad boy attitude. Don't bring up the stupid hat. Don't bring up the dumb hat. Shut up about the stupid hat.
Bad boys and top hats is what it's called.
The hat is dumb and stupid. The only thing dumber than the hat is the man in it.
So like I said, the non-separatists are not happy that they're not in Virginia.
Right.
Some gave, quote, discontented and mutinous speeches. They said they would use their own liberty and no one had the right to command them. The patent was Virginia, not here, quote, which belonged to another government. So they're like, this place we shouldn't even be.
There's no laws.
It's another government's fucking land.
Yeah.
It's not ours. The patent's not for here. Also, the Church of England is much bigger over there.
Okay.
So
I'd be nervous.
this speech they're basically saying because of this change,
No laws.
they can walk away from the 7-year. They said this is breaking the contract. We can walk away from the contract. Because they really, at the end of the day, they do not want to live in a colony that's just dominated by religious lunatics.
Right.
And then they knew that their religion would, they'd get nothing, right? It would just be all
right.
All the separatists. So the separatists respond by drafting what is known as the Mayflower Compact. And this is something that people in America love. It's like the first democratic agreement, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I love this.
So all males sign it. Everybody on the ship, all the dudes. But guys like John, if they didn't sign it, they would have been screwed because it would have meant that they didn't get a share of stuff, like the share of food and gunpowder and supplies. Like if they didn't sign it, they would have got nothing. They'd just be like, "Oh, contract's over," and I'd go off into the woods. So they signed this thing, and they would die without all that stuff. So the compact also gives people like Billington a little bit of hope that they would have some say in the politics of the place, because they created this new thing called the civil body politics. And they're like, well, we're on it, so we'll get some say. But in truth, they're outnumbered. So
right.
So a month after arriving, Francis climbs a tree on top of a hill.
This kid's a problem. This kid's a problem already.
And he's looking around. He's looking. He's checking stuff out. Gets up there, and he sees, quote, a great sea. He sees a big body of water. He's like, there's a great sea.
Does he not? Yeah, but that's...
I can see it from my tree.
Is that not what got them there?
Well, he thinks he sees a different, like a bay,
he thinks
or
the second ocean.
Or a bay, or like another body. Yeah, something else.
Okay.
So a bunch of colonists hike 3 miles, and it's the middle of winter. And they find it, but it's not a sea. It's just a couple of lakes. Big lakes.
Sure.
Fish and birds, and the usual. Today, that is known as Billington Sea.
Oh boy!
So it got named.
Sure.
So the winter,
and it's a lake.
Yes, 2 lakes. Yeah.
It's a very sarcastic name for a
yeah.
for
Oh
a
yeah,
lake.
100%. It's a sarcastic name. Yeah.
Welcome to Idiot Creek.
Yeah, that's basically what they did. So the winter is hard. It's a very hard winter. By the time it's over, only about 50 people are still alive. And that includes the Billingtons. All 4 Billingtons survived.
Okay.
6 of 22 families were completely gone. Another 6 had lost a parent, and 6 others, there was just an orphan that survived.
It's dark.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the spring, John Jr. Gets lost he goes off into the wilderness and gets lost.
That's not surprising.
No, it's not.
Why? Like I don't understand. Okay. So is he lost?
Yeah, he's lost. They can't find him. He ends up being gone for 5 days. He's out there eating berries to survive and anything else he can find. And so they send 10 colonists to search for him.
How old is he?
He is, I think he's about 14 or something.
Okay.
No, he's a little bit older. He's 15, I think.
Okay.
So they obviously the colonists don't like this because they have fucking shitload of work to do. They're always working to survive. But they send 10 to search for him, and John Jr. ends up with the Nauset tribe, and that is a tribe that had attacked the Mayflower landing party in December. So
into it.
Then the colonists learn that. They find out he's with the local tribe, and they send heavily armed men to the tribe's village. But they quickly realized that they really screwed up because, quote, the savages here came very thick amongst us. So there's a ton of them because it's their place. They live there and they've been living there for a while. So there's going to be
you just moved there to die.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's a bad idea. But they don't kill them. And then a little while after, a chief rolls in on a canoe and he's got John Jr. in the canoe. He also brings about 100 more dudes with him. And they said half his men were unarmed and they also weren't pointing their arrows. They were just like totally casual. So they knew they weren't going to get killed. And John Jr. was handed over. He had beads around his neck. They treated him well. And the chief then makes peace with the colonists.
Great. So it's a good thing he went off there. Yeah,
basically. I mean, yeah. So the colonists, however, are not happy.
I like the idea that if he comes back, he's all like kind of zenned out Phil Jackson-y after 5 days over there. Yeah. Mother, relax. The earth is going to work with us no matter what we do. Just look at my beads.
I think the best part of this is that your version of a Zen dude is a basketball coach.
Well, no, my white version of a like Native American spiritual embracer is Phil Jackson. Because he would be like, they call it Pamanak.
It's and not Pamanak Richard Gere?
Means, no, because he's no. I mean more like Phil Jackson was way more into the Native. Yes.
Pseudo, yes.
Yes. LA,
yeah.
LA spiritual,
yeah. Yeah. The best kind.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is beads.
Yeah, beads, and you get the wristband.
I've got these beads and a walking stick and my drum. Yeah. And I've got a drum.
But now the colonists are like, you could have got us all killed. We had to look for you for days. Like they're really the Billingtons. They're not fucking happy with the Billingtons.
But they because of them, there's like peace.
Well, there is peace. Yeah. So the family not getting a good reputation, and John Sr. then commits the first criminal offense in Plymouth. He insulted the colony's military advisor, Miles Standish, quote, contempt of the captain's lawful commands with, I don't know how to say this word, opprobrious speeches.
Okay. So
he is
dissenter.
He's a dissenter, but he's also like, he's using foul language.
Slandering. Right. Okay.
So for punishment, John Sr. was sentenced to have his neck and heels tied together for the unknown period of time. But then it was commuted because he humbled himself in front of the court and begged for pardon.
Yeah. This whole thing, like the idea that you could just be like, my bad, and be like, I'm an idiot. Yeah. I mean, I would play that card so goddamn fast.
Oh, yeah. This is a time when they would be like, we're going to kill you because you don't believe in my God. And you can just be like, I believe in your God.
Yeah. It's like the convictions are tripping. I would, whatever they believed, I'd be like, for sure.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Couldn't agree with you more. That's exactly what happened. My God, what a weird, why did I talk so much shit about you? This guy seems awesome. This guy seems awesome. Hey, where are we at with the tying my neck and heels together? Did we move away from that? Because that's sort of like a big,
We don't do that to our kind, so you're good.
That's great. Yeah.
We didn't know you were one of us.
I am, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you guys more. Yeah. You get it. I mean, all this stuff that we're talking about now, I'm like, what the, like there was what's so crazy to me is looking back and being like, hold on a second. There was a time where I like wasn't believing that. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. What's your favorite psalm from Luke?
Skywalker.
Fair. So they let him go, but now the whole family, they say they're profane. They're like, these are fucked up.
They've got a target on their back.
Yeah. But for all the belief in a punishing God, while tons had died in the colony and entire families had been wiped out, Billingtons had all survived.
Yeah, right.
So it's like what you were saying before. It's like, well, if we all survive, isn't maybe our beliefs are maybe
anyone
God's like
thinking maybe the Lord has an eye on us a little bit, maybe just a little bit.
So now, to get the most out of their investment, the company has imposed a communal lifestyle.
Sex.
Yeah, it's a lot of fucking. The people aren't into it, though. They don't like it. The kids didn't want to work, quote, for other men's wives and children.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The men thought common labor and common property to be disrespectful and lacking dignity.
This standard that you got on a goddamn boat to go to a wasteland, and now you're like, hold on a second here. We have standards. It's like, I don't think you do. Just survive these 7 years.
I think they just wanted to get on the boat and get to the other place and then be like, we don't like it. Like, they, say whatever. But also which is
actually a fine plan in a way. But
Jesus wasn't into communal food and property. Jesus was all about my house, my shit.
Original hoarder.
Yeah. One of the first things he said was, Jesus came out and he was like, this is my shit.
Yeah. No, I mean, very clearly, I think if you go back and read anything about him, I mean, he was very selfish.
Oh, yeah. It was all maybe. He was a libertarian.
I think that's actually been proven. Yeah. He was at CPAC last year.
Yeah, he was. And also the women saw being told to work for other men as like a type of slavery, and husbands didn't like their wives working for other men. So it's there's not a lot of happiness going on.
Right.
So to increase production, every family is assigned land for planting in 1623. And this picks morale up because they got their own spot. That's what they wanted.
Planter's box. Sure.
John Sr. got 3 acres, but he should have gotten 4.
Okay.
Because you're supposed to get 1 acre for each member of the family. But at that point, John Jr. was living with a guy named Richard Warren. So Warren gets John Jr.'s acre. So
why is he going over there with Dick Warren?
I think because of the communal living and all this stuff. Like he's working for him. And so John Sr.'s not happy. He's like, well, just because
there's so much, like if you're going by like what their standards of land are at that point, there's the idea that you're going to nitpick and like, it's like, there's so much, give it to them.
I think it's already cleared land and like ready for crop.
Okay. Right.
I think it's like, yeah.
Right.
So the next year, the investors don't like what's going on. They're like, there's too much Puritan shit happening out there.
Right.
So they send an evangelican minister, John Lyford, to sort of take a little bit of control and break up the Puritan control. Like he goes in with an agenda.
It's wild the factions here.
Yeah,
like
insane.
Just be like, man, we got a Puritan problem. Send an evangelical there. That makes sense. That'll work.
So there's a struggle between the separatists and the non-separatists. The non-separatists do not like the religious, economic, and political restrictions that are being put on them by these religious types. If you can imagine,
Sure.
You can imagine that.
Shocking.
No. So there's a showdown, and Governor Bradford, who is a separatist, accuses Lyford of plotting a reformation.
Okay.
And there's a trial. And during the trial, the Lyford and his whatever co-conspirator, whatever the guy is, he names John Sr. as basically a snitch.
Okay.
And he's like, this guy's informing us of all this stuff. And John Sr. is like, wow, sometimes I went to meetings because I had to, but I'm not a snitch.
Okay.
He's clearly snitching.
Okay.
But in the end, this Lyford plot fails, and he and the other leader are banished. They're kicked out of the colony.
Okay. So
that leads to a few other non-separatist colonists being like, okay, I can't take this shit. I'm fucking out of here. And so there's even a bigger percentage of
just rolling
Puritans.
Where are they going?
I think there are now other colonies.
Okay.
So maybe the Massachusetts Bay Colony, but the Massachusetts Bay Colony is also run by, Puritans. So who knows? Remember, there's also Thomas Morton who went off and
steakhouse guy.
Started a little party house Remember the guy who on the we did a live episode. He was like if this guy had been the guy who started our colonies, this would be a completely different country. Thomas Martin.
Yeah, he
was like party with Native Americans and like, hey, gay sex is okay. Like he was just like it was like San Francisco.
Yeah.
Or old San Francisco before it got ruined.
Oh wow.
It got really awkward.
So you're one of those guys, huh?
I am, yeah.
Wow.
So the Billingtons don't go, though. They're one of the people, and the reason they don't go is because you're walking away from your possible future fortune, right? When the 7 years are up.
Yes.
And
how long they've been there now?
I think it's like 5 years they've been there. They've been there for a while. They put in a lot of work.
Finish it out.
Yeah, I would finish it out, but those people are like, yeah, but then I'm still stuck in the colony with these assholes, but I have, so I get both sides.
Though.
Yeah. They had already been, the Billingtons were already just like before the trial, before he was named as a snitch, and now they're just seen as completely at odds with the Puritan pious colonists.
Sure.
But they still stay. And probably because it's 3 years. They're 3 years away from the division of property. So they put in 4 years.
Yep.
And to walk away, it's just like you're literally just starting from scratch. So after the trial, there are even more bad feelings toward the Billingtons. And the next year, John Sr. has a conflict with Puritan Robert Cushman. No one knows. A lot of the records aren't, they don't write it down. So no one knows exactly what the conflict was. But Governor Bradford wrote to Robert Cushman and warned him that, quote, Billington still rails against you and threatens to arrest you. I know not wherefore. He is a knave, and so will live and die.
What's he saying?
I think he's saying he's
fuck this guy,
not one of us, and he's just going to live and die, and that's going to be it. He's not going to go to heaven or whatever.
Oh, right.
Shit. I think so.
Right.
I think
okay.
I could be totally wrong. He also with the Billingtons, the whole crew, were being punished all the time. So definitely not all their stuff is being recorded because he's like, we're constantly having to deal with these fuckers. Like they're white trash. This is the white trash family.
Sure.
Of course, now someone's mad because I use white trash. I know.
Yeah, me.
I read the book. I did a whole podcast on it. It's just
read what book?
Of course, not everyone disliked Billingtons. Okay. American hero Thomas Morton said John Jr. was beloved by many. And that is backed up by the fact that when those people left, 2 of them gave all their land to John Sr.
Oh, shit.
So he was clearly... So the only records we have are from the Puritan leaders and stuff. So they're writing how much they hate him, but clearly
even then they're giving it up. Okay. So he's got way more land now.
Yeah. So most of the, and they're religious lunatics, right? So they're writing, the shit they're writing about him is just nuts. So the colony, it turns out, is not making any money. They're not turning the profit that the company wanted. So they start negotiating with the company to get control in 1626. And that's a year away from when the
division.
Yeah. Now, the only reason you do that is if you are in control of the colony and you want to fuck the other people over in the colony.
Right.
So the land and cattle are all divided up, and John does not get what he was supposed to get based on if the contract ran out and what he agreed to and been working for 6 years. They were, because the people keep arriving. So they're like, the first comers are like supposed to be really fucking set, but he gets the smallest percentage per capita allotment in the colony.
Okay.
So
you didn't get the land you were already on?
Yeah, I think you get the land you're on, but that's not much land. They're divvying up
then
more.
As far as okay.
Like the whole colony is supposed to be divvied up.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and so he gets like scraps.
What's he getting? Livestock? Chicken?
3 chickens and a crow, which is
that's not great.
Yeah.
Anyone want some more crow milk?
No, it's the crow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he gets a superhero type.
Wow.
Thing. Yeah. So what he got was a house in the center of Plymouth, 63 acres,
Wow.
a share of the livestock, and rights to future distribution. But then that sounds great to us, but that's still way less than what he was supposed to get.
Right.
And he's also excluded from any like leadership position because he has a bad reputation and he's not a member of the church. Yeah, he's a snitch and he's a shithead, according to them. He also doesn't have enough money to become what is known as a colony undertaker, and they're the people who like financially back stuff for the colony and handle the trade with England. So he doesn't have enough money for that. So he's frustrated. He's fucking pissed.
Sure.
And he is one of the people Bradford called, quote, untoward persons which came out of England, which might endanger to overthrow all now that other ties and bonds are taken away.
So they're framing him as an enemy.
They're othering him.
A future enemy.
Yeah, 100%. They're like, well, now that the outside problems are gone, it's these dudes.
Right. So the CIA.
They're still because they were persecuted for so long. They're still like this. They call them the strangers, right? So he's still a stranger. He's still like not part of the clan. So Thomas Morton writes that John Senior had found the, quote, one place in the whole country where there was a very useful stone, so much commended by Ovid, and he labored to get a patent of it to himself.
What did he get? A stone?
He found precious metal.
Oh, okay. Man, we love our little shiny fucking things, huh?
We do.
We
really do.
We are just...
I'd be excited.
I mean, I guess. Just it's so funny. At some point, we're like, that's pretty. Kill people for it.
Well, this sounds like a useful metal from what he wrote. Okay. So it's probably iron.
Okay.
Because it said it was... Martin wrote that it could be used to make edging tools. So it's like a
collar.
Yeah, like a collar.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Like a collar.
Yeah, exactly.
Morton thought John Sr. wanted to keep the profits and not share it with the colony. And because of that, it appears nothing happened with it. Like he didn't want to tell people. He wanted to be able to corner it for himself, but he probably couldn't get the infrastructure together to mind it. So
he just was like, fuck it. Nobody gets it.
So nothing happens with it. And then tragedy hits. John Jr. dies. We don't know what the cause is. He's 24.
Being in the 1600s.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. He's 24 and he just gotten land himself. So he was just starting to, his life. But people died all the time of disease. Richard Warren, who died around the same times, and he was probably still living with him. And so probably something in their house, right? Like a diarrhea or whatever.
Diarrhea. Okay.
No, losing a son, emotionally devastated, obviously, but also like that's his retirement because your kids back then, that's your Social Security. That's who, deals with your
picks you up
old and can't move,
cleans your diapers,
throws you in the river so you drown.
Yeah, washes
your stuff.
Yep, exactly. Goes through your things, loots you,
cleans you, takes it, cleans you out. Cleans you, cleans you out.
Cleans you out.
Takes your bones.
Yep.
Makes weapons.
Makes weapons from your bones while you're alive. Yep.
Yeah, all the stuff.
Yep.
Soon after this, they learned a new group of separatists are coming from Holland. So now it's going to get worse, right? Now there's a whole new fucking ship of assholes. And they're poor. They're not, none of them have any money. So.
Coming to Virginia.
No, coming to Plymouth.
Okay, right.
So that means more competition for land and wood, and current colonists are expected to support them for up to 18 months until they can get on their feet, right?
Oh, man. Trump would murder this time. I guess both of them would, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a total nightmare.
Yeah.
Because he just got screwed on the divvying up everything.
They're
and now
sending their worst.
On top of that, indentured servants keep arriving who are working for the Undertaker guys. So the rich guys are bringing in more people to do more work for them. And
right. Privatizing.
So the whole colony is tense because of this. But John has no power to do anything. And he's really at a breaking point. He's like, okay, I'm fucking done. So he go to your
iron. I would go to my iron rock.
Yeah.
And fashion myself a hammer or some sort of sword, device.
A hammer sword?
Then yeah, a hammer sword.
Is it a hammer like on one end and a sword on the other?
That's exactly what it is.
Sure.
And then I would ride on my trusty crow and just behead the enemies.
Yes.
Those who've wronged me.
Yeah. So it's probably a lot. It's probably like 150 people or 200.
It's nothing.
More at this point.
I have a hammer sword.
Yeah.
I have a swammer.
I assume they have guns. Like they could probably
stop
you, shoot you.
Well, then I will fashion myself a suit made of iron that they won't be able to shoot me with on the back of my trusty crow.
You're still on the crow.
With my swammer. Yeah, I'm still on the crow. Crow's awesome.
How big are you?
I'm my size. With an iron suit.
Okay.
The crow's been training. The crow will be an iron too. Iron crow. Crowbar, we'll call him. Crowbar and iron boy.
Boy.
Yes. Yep.
You're like 40.
Psst, stop. Come on. This whole age thing is we've already talked about this. I'm like a teenager. On this show,
I was talking about the character you were doing.
Oh yeah. I'm like, I'm 40. Yeah. But for this time, that's all. I'm Iron Boy.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Yeah, and I'd go around and behead my enemies. Crow's gonna have to do some squats.
Yeah, no, it sounds pretty like a good plan.
Yep.
Nobody thinks it's bad.
Nope.
So John got into a disagreement with his neighbor, John Newcomen, but we don't know what it was about.
Just named John?
Yeah, it's a lot of Johns. So there's no history of what it was about, but it had been going on for a little while. At least till 1630, because that's when it ended, because John came across Newcomen in a field and shot him dead. So he's dead.
Yes. We're taking our enemies out.
Yeah, one at a time.
Yep.
Historian and clergyman at the time, William Hubbard, quote, "The poor fellow, perceiving the intent of this Billington, his mortal enemy, sheltered himself behind trees as well as he could for a while. But the other, not being so ill a marksman as to miss his aim, made a shot and struck him on the shoulder, with which he died soon after."
Jesus. By the way, you could get there quicker. I mean, it's a lot of words. You know what I mean? One guy hid behind the tree. The other guy shot him in the shoulder. He died. He's a good shot.
Well, you're not really painting a picture, are you?
Sure, it's just a lot, It's hidden behind a shrub. Come on.
They had so much time. There was nothing to watch. There was nothing to do. So you just used words to make everything go longer. It's like everything was a cricket match.
Yeah.
So the murderer expected that either for want of power to execute for capital offenses or for want of people to increase the plantation, he should have his life spared. So he's like, look, you guys fucked me. I did it.
But come on. There's not a lot of us. I'm pretty good over here.
There's no law.
Yeah, I killed him through the shoulder. And so come on. What are we doing? Let's go back to tilling.
Also, there's no law to kill me. There's no capital offense law. So what are you going to do? Nothing on the books.
Yeah.
John. So they arraigned John, and then he two juries, a grand jury and a petty jury. I never even heard of petty jury.
Yeah. I mean, we just want to show him who's boss.
Yeah, we're not that big. We don't really care.
Yeah.
They find him guilty of willful murder by plain and notorious evidence.
Okay.
And they sentence him to death.
Shit.
Now, this was concerning because he was going to be the first person executed in the colony, and they're not sure what the ramifications would be, right? What
He was
would all
going to
the
die.
other non-separatists do? Would they be mad, or I don't know.
Right.
A lot of things, I'm sure. So Governor Bradford reaches out to the leading gentleman of the Massachusetts Bay Colony.
Hey, are you guys killing him? Have you guys killed him? We're about to kill one of them.
We're killing all kinds of people. We killed
You are?
so many.
Okay, yeah, we're going to kill one of ours because he killed another guy.
Yeah,
but we just
have
weren't sure
at
if
it.
that sets a bad precedent.
Yeah, I would use your sword hammer if you have one.
Oh, we have a swimmer.
Oh, well then get your swimmer out and just give him a noxie or a
Great,
stabsy.
yeah.
Yeah, you
We'll
can
do the
stabsy.
crow
Yeah.
right in on him. Great.
Yeah, Jesus would have loved that. He was
Oh, yeah,
really
for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, we're finding out Jesus wore a top hat.
I don't think we are.
So the Massachusetts Bay Colony leaders are all like, yeah, you should kill him and, quote, the land be purged from blood.
Yeah, that's how you get rid of blood.
That's how you say it also. So John Billington is hanged on September 1630. This is the first murderer in English, or European murderer who killed someone and got prosecuted and put to death. So he's the first. He's our first murderer.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you really should be able to get off of that.
I agree. First
There's
one out of the
never been
gate.
a better, like, I didn't know. Are we not killing him? Okay, I'm sorry.
I thought we
didn't
were
know.
doing.
I had no idea. Nobody told me.
Nobody said anything.
I shot him through the shoulder, by the way. What kind of weak-ass bitch just dies from a
Right?
shoulder shot?
I was
Come
winning
on.
the guy.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, take a bullet or like.
Good Lord. I didn't know we weren't doing that.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Now I won't do it again.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If Jesus wanted him around, why would he let me shoot him?
Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good, honestly.
Welcome to my court.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Where everything that happens was supposed to happen because religion.
Thank you.
I like it.
So Governor Bradford said they considered this all, quote, a great matter of sadness.
Okay.
Although, come on, he annoyed the fuck out of them, and no one liked non-Puritans, and they also killed Thomas Morton for having fun. So yeah, okay, bullshit.
Right.
Bradford also wrote, quote, he and some of his had often been punished for miscarriages before, being one of the profanest families amongst them. So no one knows where John Billington is buried, but probably on his property somewhere.
Okay.
That's just the way they did it back then, just bury on your property.
I like that. I want to be buried in your property.
You will.
Okay. Wait.
Absolutely. 100%. Eleanor had now lost two members of her family in under 3 years.
Yeah.
Both Johns. So they're Johnless.
Yep. Damn.
Francis is now 21. The 1626 division of property had given him 20 acres, and he now wanted to find a wife, start his own family.
Sure.
Eleanor did get the traditional widow's 1/3 of John's property, so she had some property. Now, the normal thing at a time like this for a woman who was widowed was to find a new husband. You get back in the game.
Sure.
But she was not having that.
Okay.
And no doubt the Puritans still had nothing but contempt for her and Francis. It's the name Billington. No one likes the Billingtons. So Francis worked as a part-time carpenter assistant for Francis Eaton, who had also been on the Mayflower, and he had gotten married 3 times. But then he died in 1633, and Francis then married Eaton's widow 8 months later.
Okay. What, 8 months?
Very suspicious.
Oh.
Very suspicious.
Right.
To me, not to them, but to me.
8 months is very...
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
It's fast.
She already had 3 kids.
Okay.
Rachel Benjamin, and one just recorded as the idiot.
Who recorded that?
It's in the books. I don't know.
So
We don't know his name because he's
So
just.
the idiot was a separate. Is that what the doctor said when it was born? Oh,
Well,
it's an idiot.
He's
Trying to climb up out your throat. You've got an idiot. Look at this idiot.
That was, how they classified people who had mental issues.
Oh, right, of course.
Yeah, good time. So he's not
medically.
He's probably not bright, or there's something wrong with him.
Sure.
He's handicapped of some sort. He's got some sort of issue, and they're like, "Well, this idiot!" Like that was just what they did.
That's cool.
Fun
sort of. The wind's sort of been taken out of my comedic sails.
Yeah.
Your boy suffers from being an idiot. So.
Yeah, I knew. You didn't have to say it like that. Like it was pretty obvious.
Medically dumb.
No, you don't have. He's here because he has a stomach ache.
He tested positive for stupid.
He has a stomach ache. We already know all this shit.
He's got shit in his brains. Someone shit in his brains.
Look, you're a doctor. He's here because his stomach hurts.
I know. Yep. Probably because he's just full of so much dumb crap.
Okay.
Your boy is a waste.
Okay.
Have you ever heard? Have you ever heard of Dunscitis?
No, because it's
He's
not
got
a thing.
it real bad.
You're making shit up that has nothing to do.
Someone
with
turned his more on. He's an idiot. Very upright. Yep.
Okay. Thanks.
I threw a rock at his head and he didn't even duck.
Thanks for stopping by.
Went right into his head.
Really appreciate it.
Where is he now?
He's out in the yard.
Mm.
Crying because his stomach hurts.
Yeah. Yep. Boy. Look at him go.
What?
Gotta wonder what that kid would be like if he
don't
just wasn't such a
say it.
Goddamn. Well, I'll see you later. I'll see.
Okay.
I should probably go.
Bye. Thanks.
I think it's getting tense in here.
Yeah, no, it's really tense.
Want me to back the wagon over him or something?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. He is my son.
All right. Good luck. Don't have any more.
So Rachel Benjamin, the idiot, and then he got Eaton's son from his first marriage.
I swear to God, I thought you were about to say that he got eaten.
And then that'd be a good ending. They had their own kid a year later. So Francis now has a pretty big family to take care of.
Sure.
In June 1636, Eleanor, she's now in her 50s, was found guilty of slandering a church deacon and this ex-assistant governor, and she was fined £5 and, quote, adjured to be set in the stocks and be whipped.
Shit.
So they put her in the stocks and whip her because she told some guy to fuck off, basically.
Wow.
They probably wouldn't have put any other woman who arrived on the Mayflower in
she
stocks.
was just particularly...
Like those are the top dogs, the Mayflower people, the top dogs.
Sure.
Wouldn't have whipped her, except she's a Billington. Yeah.
Right.
She's now living on pretty hard times. Francis can't do much to help her financially because he's got his family. He's still cranking out kids. By 1852, he had 8 more kids.
God damn.
Yeah. Just at some point, anal, right?
What?
In 1637, same year Francis married, Eleanor needed money, so she's tried to sell land in Plymouth to a new colonist. It comes with houses and other buildings. That doesn't go through. So the following March, she grants the land to Francis with the stipulation she'd be allowed to use some of the land to plant corn, and she gets a small parcel to build a house on and have a garden.
Sure. Nice.
And also Francis can't sell the land while she's alive unless she agrees to it. So in August 1638, she marries Gregory Armstrong. He's 69. She's 56. She makes him sign a prenup.
Wow. I can't believe some of the stuff that had existed back then is crazy.
It really is. I would have never thought.
I feel like prenup started in the 80s in California.
But even with a prenup, I wouldn't think a woman back then would be.
Yeah, a woman had the right to a prenup. Yeah.
Yeah. She was bringing, this is all she had. She was bringing 2 cows into the marriage. Sorry. She's bringing 2 cows in.
Mm-hmm.
And she declared that if her husband lived longer, he would give each of her grandchildren, quote, 2 heifers of a year old. And she's got a bunch of grandkids, like, as I said. But her husband would also get the house and the land around it. So give up cows, get the land. So
Sure.
he obviously has no money.
Right. Yes.
And she does die before him. We don't know how, but we just know that in 1850 they wrote that he died a widower. So
okay.
Francis is in bad shape. He gets sued for debt in 1639, and they have to sell off their land that his wife had gotten when her previous husband died. And then they had another kid, and records indicate they're really fucking poor. So in January 1642, they lose the kids.
Wow.
Magistrates, quote, placing and disposing of Francis Billington's children according to the act and order of the court. So child services, they can't like clothe or feed them. So child services rolls in. And the families they are placed with are ordered to give them meat, drink, and clothes in return for labor. So
Loving household.
you get little worker kids.
All right. Well, you know the deal. Here's your meat. Go build a fence. Can we go sit at the table? Shut up.
No.
Shut
Go
up.
with the dogs.
Shut up.
Go eat your
Eat
bowl
your
of
lamb.
meat.
Go eat your lamb.
Just in a pile.
Yeah. Eat and cook your lamb. It's like Korean barbecue. Throw it on the table.
So the boys are supposed to remain with their new masters until they're 21 and the girls 20.
Wow.
And the kids at this point, they're between 5 and 14.
Oh, my God.
The Billingtons made it into another record book. 6-year-old Elizabeth Billington was the last female to be listed in colony records as entering into indentured servitude.
Oh, my God. So the final one.
She's
That
the last.
sucks.
Yeah.
All right, you go work for them for an indeterminate amount of time. By the way, we're going to get rid of that now. That's the end of
That's
wait,
gone.
what?
So
Wait,
am I free?
but-
No.
No, because you're still doing it, but you're the last one.
Congratulations.
We're not going to do that anymore. Anyway, finish your term out, okay? Yeah.
And your brother's free.
Hey!
Joseph Billington, who was 6 years old, ran away from his master's service several times. So Francis and his wife are brought to court to answer for this behavior, this terrible behavior.
Sure.
Joseph had
I mean, it's pretty easy to answer for. Yeah, Your Honor, it sucks.
Yeah, he's eating meat out of a bowl.
His deal sucks.
Yeah, I can't. There's nothing. You remember you took them from me, right? You guys
Yes.
took my kids away,
Yes.
and they're trying to run back to me, and that's
Yeah.
because they want to be with
We're
their.
just not sure why
their-
your kid is such a. The insubordination is just off the
He
charts.
likes his parents. He wants to be with us.
I mean, he's getting plenty of mutton he can eat off the dusty floor. He's given a cot, and in exchange for that, he just has a lot of things to clean up. I'm not sure what the.
Your Honor,
Yep.
we're being told he was not given a cot. He's just got a little place on the dirt there.
Oh, well, whatever. He's got a dirt bed. You can dirt nap in it. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, not sure what this kid's problem is.
He loves us. He wants to. It's love. He wants to be with his parents. Me and.
You've lost the court because not really sure what's going on anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. So young Joseph had been led astray by his brother, who was 14, Benjamin, who had run away so much. They said he was dismissed from his slavery. So I don't know what that means.
So that's your punishment for running away too much? You know what? Get out of here. This isn't going to work out. You're just not listening, and that's a big problem for us. So just get out. You're done.
You're free.
You're free.
Well, that's
Go.
it. That's
Hope
it.
you're
You
happy.
get
Hope
freedom.
you're happy.
I think they probably put him with someone else, right?
Still.
Someone worse.
Wow.
So Francis and Christian were told if they accepted a runaway Joseph in their home, they would be put in the stocks. So now their kids can't run away to them because they get, And Benjamin was told he'd get the same punishment. He would also be put in stocks because he's 14 now. So you're old enough to be put in stocks.
It's time to stock, yeah.
Christian and Francis then had 5 more kids. Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
3 of them lived to be adults. That's why I got mixed up. So they can't stop. They love to just bang.
Yeah, they're really finishing on the inside.
Francis was hauled back into court for debt. Again, there are other miscellaneous charges. At this point, he had 9 kids and 3 stepchildren. I'm not sure how many were in his house. But either way, in 1665, the house burned down.
Oh, shit.
They're just not. This just family should have stayed in England.
These are the original Kennedys.
No, because the Kennedys had a nice house.
Oh. Still.
The Billingtons moved to Middleborough, and Francis and Christian died in December 1684. He was 78 years old. In 1973... 19?
Okay.
The overseers of the Plymouth plantation, so people who were like overseeing the original land, OPP, they're trying to make it like Williamsburg or whatever, like redo it kind of deal.
Sure.
They decided an authentic...
We should get a Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They decided an authentic house would be built where the Billingtons lived. Right? So rebuild the Billingtons house.
Sure.
Now, the way this worked is the family, it's been handed down through the years. They still own the land. And usually when they made a decision, the Plymouth plantation overseers, the house would get built by the founders' descendants because these are all rich people, right? All of the original Mayflower people are crazy fucking rich families.
Oh, they are?
In the 1900s. Yeah. I mean, those people all had original land and they all just kept making money because that's how it works. Once you have land. Here's the problem with that. The Billingtons account has $4 in it. And that had been deposited by a staff member. So there's no money. The Billingtons are not, they still, years later, they don't have any fucking money.
Right.
They're the family that didn't
save.
Yeah. Or they never had any money. That never worked out. He's in debt back then. They never.
Right. Nobody ever. $4. We should get some scratch offs. No, Billingtons. Jesus Christ. Fucking listen to me.
I'm going to use it to buy a sword.
Oh, dude, this is great.
And then we'll rob a bank.
Let's put $4 of gas in the motorcycle. Jesus, Billingtons. Listen to yourselves.
So the plantation staff was built. The plantation staff built the house, but that's the story of the Billingtons. The Billingtons were the first. He's the first murderer, America's first murderer, and a first death
last
sentence.
Indentured servant.
And then last indentured servant.
So they're kind of like the unluckiest.
Yes.
People who came, the unluckiest pilgrims, basically.
I mean, had they been Puritans, they probably would have been fine and made a lot of money and been great. But they were persecuted and didn't get as much what they
they're still owed. And they're still their Billingtons today.
Oh, certainly, yeah, because they kept having kids. Yeah, there's Billingtons.
They had a lot of kids.
So they probably it's probably some person in. I mean, someone's probably going to correct me on this, but it's probably some guy who just like owns a mobile home somewhere in Ohio, and he's like, I'm from the Mayflower folk.
Right. Wow, what a weird little family.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to the Billingtons.
Shout out.
I think Curtis Flood's kids started following me on Twitter.
Is that true?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
I believe so. So if any Billingtons want to hop aboard the social media team, let's go.
Get on board, girl.
Let's go. Let's party. Well,
let's
take the hat off.